The famous and well-respected television host and public speaker Joyce Meyer was right in the middle of a horrific and unforgettable incident today. Normally, the courtroom was empty except for the sound of lawyers discussing cases, but tensions increased as the judge got ready to impose the punishment. Meyer's face showed a mixture of excitement and fear as he stood there. The events that followed seemed to paralyze the atmosphere due to the seriousness of the subject matter. In a flash, her expression changed from confusion to extreme terror. Before anyone could fully comprehend the seriousness of the situation, Joyce Meyer collapsed to the floor in the middle of the courtroom. The room fell silent and shocked as everyone rushed to her aid. The events that followed unfolded at a rate that defied comprehension, leaving everyone wondering what happened to lead me to fall and what harsh reality she now has to face because of this unexpected turn of events. Joyce Meyer's career and rise are inspiring tales of perseverance, faith, and controversy. Despite a troubled upbringing, she rose to prominence as a leading Christian televangelist, and she has millions of admirers worldwide, and has been a prominent figure in the prosperity gospel movement for many years. Many see her quick rise to fame as a lesson in overcoming adversity, while her critics contend that her kingdom is based on financial abuse, clever branding, and the commercialization of Christianity. Meyer was born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1943 and has openly discussed her childhood trauma from abuse in her books and speeches. She claims that faith was the thing that helped her recover, and this story influenced her later writing. Her spiritual journey began when she attended a charismatic church in the area in the early 1970s. Christian organization Joyce Meyer Ministries with the goal of sharing her knowledge of religion, self-empowerment, and financial success. Meyer's work at that time was honest, direct, and very personal. She became a part of people's lives by sharing stories of suffering, triumph, and redemption rather than by presenting herself as an impersonal, perfect preacher. Women in difficult situations who sought her advice found her relatable because she was honest. She started her daily show, Enjoying Everyday Life, taught which quickly rose to fame as she took advantage of radio and television. Her ability to capitalize on the growing market for religiously inspired media helped her gain even more renown among Christians after writing over 100 books, many of which became bestsellers. Her highly successful publications, including Battlefield of the Mind, The Confident Woman, and Living Beyond Your Feelings, solidified her status as a spiritual leader and motivational speaker. Her books and teachings resonated with many people, especially those seeking both philosophical and practical guidance for their lives. The show, which combined religious teachings with self-help advice, became a key component of her brand and reached millions of people worldwide. Joyce Meyer Ministries had grown into a multi-million-dollar enterprise by the early 2000s, despite the fact that Meyer's expanding business was ostensibly based on faith. With a massive facility in Fenton, Missouri, that included offices, recording studios, and other expansive rooms, she shifted her lectures to emphasize material prosperity, claiming that God rewards faithfulness with financial blessings. However, as skepticism grew, Meyer's detractors pointed to his own extravagant spending habits, citing things like a $10 million Zeros private plane, multiple mansions, expensive designer clothes, and a guarded office. The boundary between religion and commerce gradually became more hazy as Meyer's wealth became more apparent. Investigative journalists and watchdog groups were concerned that she was abusing her tax-exempt status to enrich herself at the expense of her donors. The turning point came when the U.S. government investigated several well-known televangelists, including Joyce Meyer Senate, to see if their organizations were abusing tax-exempt status. Through her writing, Meyer has created a two-sided image. The teachings of the Bible have given hope to millions of people, and for some she represents courage and faith. For others, she represents the commercialization of Christianity in the modern era. Despite her cooperation with the investigation and the disclosure of certain financial details, people continued to question Meyer's wealth. Despite the intense scrutiny, Meyer felt no remorse for her accomplishments. She frequently claimed that she became wealthy from the sale of books and talks rather than receiving gifts, whereby one's faith is seen as linked to financial success. Her supporters cite her leadership skills and moral guidance as proof that she is an effective leader, while others view her company as just the latest televangelist trying to capitalize on their fan base. Meyer continues to minister, but she continues to stir up controversy. Her admirers are divided, with some viewing her with awe regarding the interplay between religion, wealth, and authority, and she has been the subject of rumors and speculations for years. Given the controversial nature of her work, everyone is wondering, has Joyce Meyer's business finally hit a turning point? And there was a lot of beginning, continuing, and ending that had to happen. Our group will say a prayer. Please, Father, fill my lips with your wisdom. I am completely unsure of what will come out of it. You promised me that you would unlock it, and I believe you. For that reason, I intend to open my mouth wide and try to walk on water. The things that people need to hear will be filled by you. I have faith that my life story is too long to convey in an hour, but I have faith that you will be able to extract the important details that will help others. By the end of today, I hope that everyone will realize that they can accomplish anything with your assistance. In the name of Jesus, may that be the case. In conclusion, everyone has a story to tell, and it's not that I believe my work is better than others. The controversy that led to the rumors that Joyce Meyer was incarcerated has horrified many religious and non-religious people. Thanks to her inspirational speeches and best-selling books, this woman was once seen as unstoppable in Christian media, but she is now involved in a scandal that caught everyone off guard. For decades, Meyer persuaded millions of people that a strong faith could result in heavenly rewards, and that his kingdom was founded on faith and wealth. It was entirely unexpected for press reports about Meyer's legal troubles to surface. At first, it seemed that the rumors and sensational headlines spread online were their only goal. But as more information became available, the rumors turned into a full-fledged media frenzy. Original news stories. There were many rumors when word got out that someone might be under criminal investigation for financial misdeeds, because the woman who had spoken about overcoming adversity might be going through it herself. The conflict started with allegations that Joyce Meyer Ministries embezzled money, the group's spending habits on. Despite Meyer's repeated claims that she became wealthy through book sales and talks, many questioned whether she was wasting the money from contributors. Meyer and her group may have misled contributors into believing their money was going toward actual humanitarian projects, according to some of the most alarming allegations in the most recent crisis. Meyer's lavish mansion, private planes, designer clothes, and extravagant way of living had long been a source of concern. For a long time, Meyer's gifts, tax-free funds, and large purchases had been troublesome. The Internal Revenue Service and other government agents allegedly spent years undercover gathering evidence against Joyce Meyer Ministries in preparation for a potential court lawsuit. Things got much worse as a result of this. Although there have been no formal accusations, reports suggest that the investigation primarily centers on tax fraud, theft, and violations of regulations regarding the financial management of the ministry. A number of anonymous former employees have claimed that the ministry took every precaution to avoid government audits and that financial records were purposefully ambiguous. The situation quickly worsened when sources with knowledge of the matter suggested that potential witnesses might be calling Meyer's former associates willing to testify against him. These individuals claimed that the company's top executives were hiding more information about the company's finances than they were admitting. If Meyer's claims are true, it could spell disaster for her entire group. Of course, many people think this is all part of a plot to damage Meyer's reputation and remove a prominent religious figure. Her supporters point out that Christians have historically been unfairly persecuted and that this might be just another example of a powerful preacher being held accountable for her influence. The people in question claim that Meyer is the target of unfounded allegations, that she has always been honest about her financial affairs, and that the accusations are an attempt to damage her reputation. However, for some, this incident is a much-needed wake-up call. They claim that while claiming to be doing holy work, televangelists like Meyer have been allegedly accumulating large fortunes for years without adequate oversight. They feel that a company that has long made money off of people's faith is finally receiving what is rightfully theirs. We don't know whether this incident will ruin her career or if she will survive, but one question keeps coming up. Is Joyce Meyer's kingdom finally coming to an end, or will she find a way to move on? Meyer was in jail. According to some reports, she was already in custody, but others said that she was just being questioned and hadn't been formally charged yet. A lot of ideas were generated because of the abundance of uncertainty. These ranged from Meyer's legal team delaying what was about to happen to a massive government cover-up. The number of survivors of sexual abuse in this room is probably incalculable. Everyone has experienced the pain of being a victim of abuse, neglect, unloving parents, teasing, or comparison to another youngster. Who knows, maybe you've told someone, or maybe you haven't. Given the treatment of children by some individuals, it is truly a blessing to have parents who instilled in you unconditional love and the belief that you are loved. You can do anything you set your mind to. Joyce Meyer's legal issues and the evidence against her have generated intense discussions. Some believe she is being unfairly singled out, while others see them as inevitable consequences. For a long time, her ministry has been the focus of accusations that she is a bad steward of donor funds and uses them for her personal gain, but these accusations had never led to any legal action. Now, however, the once exempt televangelist is the focus of a growing scandal as news of ongoing investigations and possible legal action spread. Despite claims to the contrary, several accounts detail the misuse of ministry funding for the acquisition of exotic vehicles, mansions, and private planes. Some of the most devastating witnesses are current or former employees or other insiders, some of whom have allegedly come out to claim that the purposeful concealment of financial documents was done to thwart external audits. Financial management is central to the case, according to reports. Investigators are attempting to ascertain whether Joyce Meyer Ministries misled donors into believing their money was going toward charity activities by diverting millions of dollars from their official financial records, were kept a secret from everyone but a few. According to these whistleblowers, some say that large sums of money were hidden behind shell companies or categorized under ambiguous expense categories to prevent tax authorities from learning about these trades. Rumors that Meyer and her colleagues may have known about potential legal risks for some time without proving them support the argument. Reports show that the ministry's legal team voiced concerns about possible compliance issues, but those concerns were rejected. If this turns out to be true, there could be far-reaching legal repercussions if it indicates deliberate at this stage of the investigation. No one knows what might happen to Meyer. Her ministry may lose its tax-exempt status, be fined heavily, or even face criminal prosecution if the accusations are proven in court. According to Meyer's legal representation, her opulence is the result of lawful means rather than theft, such as the sale of books and talks. Person spending habits have always been transparent, and the accusations are only an assault on a well-known religious figure. However, some question whether Meyer has truly fulfilled the moral obligations of a religious organization because of her lavish lifestyle and vast financial empire. It's heartbreaking at times, but I know that they're often completely unaware of what they're doing. Hating those who wrong you won't help you, because most people are just acting out of grief. The first thing you need to know is that harboring hate will keep you from improving. The next legal battle will determine whether Joyce Meyer's legacy remains prominent in contemporary Christianity or becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of abusing one's position of authority, financial resources, and religious convictions. I would like to break this down into two sections. First, the abuse, and second, the early days of the ministry and the struggles we went through to get to this point. Regardless of how difficult or unfair it may seem, God always wants us to do what's best for ourselves, and sometimes that means doing things that seem unfair to others. Hatred for an offender is like poisoning a target in the hopes that they perish. You end up killing yourself. Given the ongoing drama in court, there is a noticeable schism among Joyce Meyer's supporters and detractors regarding her trial. On the one hand, Joyce Meyer's horde of loyal followers are certain that she is innocent. On the other hand, they see the trial as an attack on Christianity and great religious leaders. On the other hand, they believe that liberal groups and government agencies have long sought to smear televangelists, especially one as well known as Meyer. And on the other hand, they believe that justice is finally being served. Meyer had a long and illustrious career as a strong religious and successful woman, and her lessons touched the lives of millions. People who support Meyer contend that this is not about financial crimes or theft, but rather about the attempt to. Some members of the religious community, including pastors, have come forward to defend Joyce Meyer, saying that her wealth is a gift from God and not the result of lying. Some churches have even held prayer vigils in her honor, hoping that God will help her overcome this trial. However, not everyone is convinced that she is innocent. A growing number of her former supporters and religious doubters believe that Meyer has accumulated her kingdom by taking advantage of the faith of weak believers, and they view this trial as long overdue. Critics contend that Meyer's extravagant lifestyle, complete with private jets, multi-million-dollar homes, and trendy clothing, contradicts the biblical principles she claims to preach. Some see the trial as exposing her church as a business empire masquerading as a religious organization. Many of her churchgoers are now wondering what happened to their donations because they feel betrayed by a leader they once trusted. Some have taken to social media to vent about how they were encouraged to give large sums of money with the expectation of spiritual or financial benefits, but instead they have experienced disappointment and financial strain. The public is still quite divided over whether Meyer is truly guilty of financial crime or just a scapegoat. While some publications have shown sympathy for Meyer, portraying her as a religious woman who is mistreated, they also see her as a prime example of the greed and dishonesty that characterize modern televangelism. Meyer's case is cited as an example of why churches should be more accountable for their actions. Major news outlets have taken an interest in the case and have been covering the trial non-stop. As the trial goes on, everyone is divided and angry, wondering if Meyer will come out stronger than before, or if this is the beginning of the end for her reputation, which has definitely taken a hit. There is no doubt that this trial will change Joyce Meyer's legacy forever, and the significance of her life will continue to be discussed long after the tribunal has adjourned. Joyce Meyer is a well-known and respected television host and public speaker. She was right in the middle of a terrible and unforgettable incident today. The courtroom was mostly empty except for the sound of attorneys discussing cases, but tensions increased as the judge was ready to impose punishment, showed on Meyer's face as he stood there. The events that followed seemed to paralyze the atmosphere because of the seriousness of the subject matter. In a flash, her expression changed from confusion to extreme terror. Before anyone could comprehend the gravity of the situation, Joyce Meyer collapsed to the floor in the middle of the courtroom. As the situation became apparent, gasps echoed throughout the room. Was it something internal, or did the words themselves make them feel bad? The room went silent and shocked as everyone rushed to her rescue. The events that followed transpired at a pace that defied. Joyce Meyer's career and rise are inspirational stories of faith, perseverance, and controversy because of this unexpected turn of events. Despite having a difficult upbringing, she became a prominent Christian televangelist with millions of admirers worldwide and has been a leading voice in the prosperity gospel movement for many years. Many view her quick ascent to fame as a lesson in perseverance in the face of adversity, while her detractors claim that her kingdom is based on financial abuse, smart branding, and the commercialization of Christianity. St. Louis, Missouri, Meyer was born in 1943, and she has openly discussed her childhood trauma from abuse in her books and speeches. She claims that faith was the thing that helped her recover, and this story influenced her later writing. Her spiritual journey began when she attended a charismatic church in the area in the early 1970s. She was immediately captivated by a service job, and in 1985, she founded the non-denominational Christian organization Joyce Meyer Ministries, sharing her knowledge of religion, self-empowerment, and financial success as its intended purpose. Meyer's work at the time was honest, direct, and very personal. She was able to reach millions of people worldwide with her daily show, Enjoying Everyday Life, which combined religious teachings with self-help advice and became an essential part of her brand. Over the next 20 years, her fame soared, largely due to her ability to take advantage of the growing market for religiously inspired media. She did this by sharing stories of suffering, triumph, and redemption, rather than by presenting herself as an impersonal, flawless preacher. Women going through difficult situations that sought her advice found her relatable because she was honest. After writing more than 100 books, many of which became bestsellers, Joyce Meyer Ministries became a multi-million-dollar business by the early 2000s. Her highly successful publications, including Battlefield of the Mind, The Confident Woman, and Living Beyond Your Feelings, solidified her reputation as a spiritual leader and motivational speaker. Her books and teachings resonated with many people, especially those seeking both philosophical and practical guidance for their own growth. Although Meyer's expanding business was ostensibly based on faith, not everyone shared this opinion. Her emphasis on material prosperity, asserting that God rewards faithfulness with financial blessings. The transition to the prosperity gospel was greeted with increasing skepticism, as Meyer's critics pointed to his own extravagant spending habits, which they claimed included a private plane worth $10 million, multiple mansions, expensive designer clothes, and a guarded office building worth tens of millions. Her success generated a lot of conjecture about whether it was a result of deaf marketing or a divine blessing. The line between religion and commerce gradually blurred as Meyer's wealth increased. Despite cooperating with the investigation and disclosing some financial information, people continued to doubt Meyer's wealth. Despite the intense scrutiny, Meyer showed no remorse for her accomplishments and repeatedly claimed that she made her fortune from the sale of books and speeches rather than receiving gifts. Investigative journalists and watchdog groups were concerned that she was using her tax-exempt status to enrich herself at the expense of her donors. The turning point came when the U.S. government investigated several well-known televangelists, including Joyce Meyer Senate, to see if their groups were abusing tax-exempt proceeds. The teachings of the Bible have given hope to millions of people, and for some she represents courage and faith. For others she represents the commercialization of Christianity in the modern era, where one's faith is seen as connected to financial success. Meyer's supporters point to her moral guidance and her leadership qualities as evidence that she is an effective leader, while others see her company as nothing more than the latest televangelist cashing in on their fan base. Meyer continues to minister, but she continues to stir up controversy. Meyer blamed poor financial management, claiming that her extravagant lifestyle was proof of God's blessings. Because of the controversial nature of her work, there has been a lot of beginning, continuing, and ending that had to happen. Our group will say a prayer. Please, Father, flood my lips with your wisdom. I am completely unsure of what will come out of it. You assured me that you would unlock it, and I believe you. As a result, I intend to address the question of whether Joyce Meyer's business has finally hit a turning point in light of her recent legal troubles. To open my mouth wide and try to walk on water. The things that people need to hear will be filled by you. I believe that my life story is too long to tell in an hour, but I believe that you will be able to extract the important details that will help others, and I pray that by the end of today everyone will realize that they can do anything with your help. May that be so in Jesus' name. To sum up, everyone has a story to tell, and it's not that I think my work is better than others. Everyone cares about their own story. The controversy that led to the rumors that Joyce Meyer was incarcerated, previously portrayed as unstoppable in Christian media due to her motivational speeches and best-selling books, this woman is now embroiled in a scandal that caught everyone off guard. For decades, Meyer persuaded millions of people that having a strong faith could lead to heavenly rewards, and his kingdom was built on wealth and faith. However, many are now questioning whether the very wealth she accumulated was the downfall that ultimately led to her downfall. It was completely unexpected for press reports regarding Meyer's legal issues to surface. At first, sensational headlines and rumors seemed to be their sole agenda, but as more information became available, the rumors began to circulate. The conflict started with accusations that Joyce Meyer Ministries misappropriated funds. The group's spending habits on gifts, tax-free funds, and large purchases had been a source of concern for a long time. Meyer's lavish mansion, private planes, designer clothes, and extravagant way of living have been the target of much criticism to a religious leader whose duty it is to emphasize religion rather than wealth. These goods were considered excessive. The incident turned into a full-blown media frenzy, with many rumors that someone might be under criminal investigation for financial misdeeds. Some of the most concerning accusations in the most recent crisis claim that Meyer was using a significant portion of the funds for his personal use and other undisclosed business endeavors. Several anonymous former employees have claimed that the ministry took every precaution to avoid government audits and that financial records were purposefully ambiguous. Meyer and her group may have misled contributors into thinking their money was going toward genuine humanitarian projects, despite her repeated claims that she became wealthy through book sales and talks. The situation quickly worsened as a result of years spent undercover collecting evidence against Joyce Meyer Ministries in anticipation of a possible lawsuit. Although there have been no formal accusations, reports suggest that the investigation focuses primarily on tax fraud, theft, and violations of regulations pertaining to the financial management of organizations. If Meyer's claims are true, it could spell disaster for her entire group. Sources with knowledge of the matter suggested that potential witnesses might be Meyer's former associates willing to testify against him. These individuals claimed that the company's top executives were hiding more information about the company's finances than they were admitting. These accusations, if confirmed, would spell disaster for one of the largest Christian groups in the world today. Of course, many people think this is all part of a conspiracy to damage Meyer's reputation and remove a well-known religious figure. Her supporters point out that Christians have historically been unfairly persecuted, and that this could be just another case of a powerful preacher being punished for her influence. The people in question claim that Meyer is the target of unfounded allegations, that she has always been honest about her financial dealings, and that the accusations are an attempt to damage her reputation. For some, this event is a much-needed wake-up call. They believe that a company that has long profited from people's faith is finally receiving the justice it deserves. The details remained frustratingly vague, as news spread that Meyer was in jail. Some reports claimed that she was already in custody, while others claimed that she was just being questioned and had not been formally charged as of yet. There was so much uncertainty that more ideas were generated, ranging from Meyer's legal team delaying what was about to happen to a massive government cover-up. Joyce Meyer has gone from being a regular preacher and author to the center of a court case that has everyone talking, regardless of the facts. We don't know if this incident will ruin her career, or if she will be able to move on, but one question keeps coming up. Will Joyce Meyer's kingdom finally fall apart, or will she find a way to get back on top? I want you to know that I'm not trying to bring you down. We've all been harmed, and even though it may sound cliché, I'm thankful that I went through it all because it helped shape who I am today. It's the key that has opened doors for me to help many victims of abuse all over the world, especially women. Given the way some people treat children, it is truly a blessing to have parents who instilled in you unconditional love and the belief that you can do anything you set your mind to. Joyce Meyer's legal troubles and the evidence against her have sparked passionate debates. Some feel she is being unfairly targeted, while others see them as inevitable repercussions. For a long time, her ministry has been accused of being a poor steward. The pain of being a victim of abuse, neglect, unloving parents taunting, teasing, or comparison to another child is likely incalculable.
The once exempt televangelist is now the focus of a growing scandal as news of ongoing investigations and possible legal action spreads. The case revolves around allegations of improper use of charitable funds, tax evasion, and poor financial management. Investigators are reportedly attempting to ascertain whether Joyce Meyer Ministries deceived donors into believing their money was going toward charitable activities by diverting millions of dollars from their official financial records.